Here's our green grape selection. 7.5 kilograms of grapes there, being defrosted, ready to make our white wine. I'm just going to crush these in this bowl and add them to the bucket, but they're going to be added to the bucket through a muslin bag, because we don't want the skins, we're making the white wine, we don't want the skins sitting in with the must whilst fermentation is going on. So as you can see, there's plenty of juice coming out of these already. So I'm just going to add these to this mixing bowl. Got to make sure these are fully crushed, but not over crushed, because what we don't want within this lot, there's quite a lot of pips. I don't want the pips crushing because they can be bitter. Just adding the crushed grapes into the muslin bag now. As you can see, all we're getting now is pure juice. No skins, no pips. That's all the green grapes crushed into the bucket. In she goes. 1.048. So that specific gravity would give us, if we just fermented this without adding any sugar, we'd get a wine at about 7%, which obviously is way below what we're looking for. But adding sugar, we'll get it up to about 11%, I guess. So just testing the acid. It's about right. I'm not going to add any acid to that. Just add in some pectolase, and also add in a Camden tablet, and tomorrow we'll be adding the sugar and the yeast and starting fermentation off. So there's 620 grams of sugar, quite a lot of sugar. That's all going to turn into alcohol, no problem. So, and just adding in our sugar. That settled out a bit overnight, but it's a pretty good colour on that. I'm hoping that we started last year with a colour that didn't look very nice to start with, and we've ended up with some beautiful clear white wine that we've been slowly working our way through. So now to add the yeast and yeast nutrient is the all-purpose white yeast. I'm going to level teaspoonful per gallon, and there's a gallon and a half in there, so 1.5. This gives nutrients to the yeast. It helps it sort of start working really, and then it gets to work on the sugars. So that goes in. Quite a lot of sediment gone to the bottom out of this, so that's a good sign that this will clear, I hope, when it finally comes to us racking that off. I'm just going to use the rest of this yeast up because it's from last year, still within date. And that's the white, ready to ferment. Add in 220 grams of sugar. That's total altogether of about 840 grams that's gone in there. And that's got to be left alone now for another 3 or 4 days. It's been bubbling away for 5, almost 6 days. There's no grape skins left in this, because it was strained off before we started fermenting. I'm still through the muslin bag because there's still quite a few bits in suspension, nothing like there was on the reds. Just putting the bungs and the airlocks in now. Might be left to continue fermenting maybe another week, and then be racking them and leaving them stand. Tidy! So we've reached the day to rack the wines that we put in the demi-johns a couple of weeks back. I'm just going to rack now from this demi-john into a clean demi-john down on the floor, just using this tube, the tap on the end, and a device on the bottom of this to stop any of the the solids that have gone to the bottom of the demijohn. Try and keep as much splashing out as leaving it splash down, but leaving it run down the side is better because we don't want any oxygen getting into this. Okay, here's the what's left of the demijohn after the first racking. That's just the remnants of little bits of yeast and little bits of grape dropping out in both the bottom of them. That's pretty rancid stuff now to be chucked away. As you can see, here's the 2 litre demijohn, and this is a 4.5 litre demijohn. Still cloudy, it'll have to be racked perhaps once or twice again and see how it clears. But as always, just siphoned a little bit off to taste, because we've probably got to add a little bit more sugar, but this is always the best bit. And that's not bad really. I don't think we need much sugar in that, that's quite crisp. So, good, happy with that.